everyone, Happy New Year. Hi, sorry we're a little late, as usual, just getting things set up, and had a little bit of an issue trying to find the event for some reason. Oh, here we go. There we go. Now I can see everything. Yay! Right, we look good. We look good. Oh, it's very bright, but that's good. That means you can see. Hello there. Hi to Cam. Hello guys. Hello Caroline. Can see you guys joining us. Oh dear, I've woken up the cat. We have got Rosie with us this evening. Hello, angel. Hello, my little angel. But yes, we don't need you at this moment in time. So you can go back on your bed. Hello, Angie. I think Rosie must have known that you were here. Fellow cat lady. Are you going to go down there? What do you want to do? Come on. This is not place for you. There we go. Why don't you go back on there, look. That's your bed. Sorry about this. We've got a little interloper. Come on, get on your bed. She's coming early because obviously the weather is being... Sorry, I'm just taking my jumper off as well because it's just suddenly got very warm in here. Yeah, the weather is pretty horrendous. It's cold and wet and rainy here in Sheffield. So she's coming early, but she'll be fed up because she gets very bored. Angie says she's got two kittens fighting on your lap at the minute. They make their presence felt, don't they? Yeah. She's gone away now though, bless her. So we'll see how we get on. She's very, very cute. So how are we all? I hope you all had a wonderful New Year. I was very low key because, as you know, I was crafting on New Year's Eve. Ant was working, so yeah, he'd been awake all night. They'd actually had a lot of jobs that evening, so he didn't get any sleep really. So he was very, very tired New Year's Day. So we spent a lot of time recovering, I think, following New Year's Eve, but not recovering in the way that I think a lot of people will have been. It wasn't because we'd been partying too hard, we'd just been working too hard, I think. Hello Emma, how are you? Happy New Year, Cam. So we've got lots and lots of things and probably to update you on and tell you, lots of plans for the new year. I'm finally feeling much healthier and ready for the new year and ready for some new projects and exciting things, plans we're making for the year ahead that I'm hoping I'll be able to share with you really, really soon. But for today, I really fancied making a Valentine's card. So we do have a new release coming out really soon, and there are some Valentine's themed products within that release. However, we do have a lot of gorgeous products already in the shop that can be perfectly adapted to Valentine's or have been made for Valentine's in previous years that are so cool. So I gathered a few bits together. I gathered these guys together, which are my Stinkin Cute stamps, which are perfect for Valentine's. So I'm going to use these little guys because I've not used them hardly at all. These were from the last release. And then I've gathered a few other bits together. So I've got the XOXO cover plate die, which is a really cool cover plate die to use because it cuts out all of these little XOs, which are really, really cute. I've got my Scattered Hearts stencil. Nicola is here. She says she's watching and on the phone to her other half as usual. He loves time for tea time. And Jess says, so happy to be back to Thursday Lives. Me too, me too. And the plan is that we will be doing more lives this year, hopefully. That is the plan. I've also got my wide stitched border dies out. Not decided yet if I will use these or not, but we'll see. I'm not sure yet because I don't want to cover up too much of my design, so I might not use those. But I did get them out because I love them. I love them so much. And then we've got our nesting heart dies because, you know, you can never have too many hearts for Valentine's Day, can you? So yeah, so those are the things that I'm planning on using. One of the great things as well over the last week or so, as I've been feeling better, is that I have felt up to giving my craft room a little bit of a spring clean and a bit of a reorg. So I am definitely going to do you that craft room tour that I promised you for probably the last 12 months to show you kind of how I operate in this space, because you only get to see this little area most of the time. And I think I don't have loads of craft stuff. I have lots of time for tea craft stuff, obviously. And I don't have a lot of space because this is also a working office space and craft space. But I think it's a good example of how you can get the most out of a small area. So if you've got a small space, maybe in your dining room or your living room or your bedroom, this you know, there might be some ideas that you could take from this, perhaps. Okay, so let's get cracking. Jess says, I'm using lots of time for tea stencils right now and also going to pair them with Stinkin Cuties and also a Tim die too. Lots going on. That sounds really exciting. I like the sound of that. And hello to Sarah who's watching. Right, what shall I start with? I'm going to start cutting out this background, I think. So I just have a little drink there. Yeah, I think I'm going to start by cutting out my background. Okay. I need some cardstock with which to do that. So one of the things that I have organised this week is my scrap pile, of which I do have quite a lot of scrap cards. So I have lots of different, I actually have 3 of my, so these are the Time for Tea storage pockets, which are awesome because they're a good size. They fit a 6x6 stencil in. That's just so you know that's the kind of size that we're working to. And what's great about that is obviously you can get lots and lots of stuff in here, lots of paper as well. So I use these for my papers and all kinds. So hi from San Francisco. Hello Betsy, how are you? Mickey, don't worry about saying hello as time for tea. That's cool. Aunt does that sometimes for me, so it's nice to have someone there. Hello to Ricky. How is San Francisco at the moment? And hello to Linda. What's the weather like in San Francisco? I imagine that it's going to be warmer than it is here, but then I may be wrong. So I've got a nice size piece of white cardstock here that I'm going to use because I want to keep, because this is quite a detailed die, I don't want to lose it in any pattern. So sometimes white is a good thing to do and then have colour popping behind it. So that's part of my idea, is to have a bit of pop of colour behind this. So I'm going to line this up onto my white cardstock and I'm going to grab a little bit of washi tape here and secure this in place. And I think this roll has just about run out, so, and I'm going to pop this through my Gemini machine, which is a bit noisy, so I apologise for the noise in advance. It is unfortunately unavoidable at this point in time. There's not a lot of point in me attempting to talk during that is there really? So let's have a look. Karin's with us. Hello to Christy. Hi Laura Ann, how are you? Okay, so sometimes, because this is quite detailed, you might need to run it through more than once. So I'm trying not to move it too much, and it's because of my plates being a little bit warped. So these areas here, I feel like they haven't fully cut. So I'm going to just snip this excess off, and then make sure that it's not moved anywhere, which it doesn't appear to have. You can see here as well, I'll show you this. These are all the little XOXOs, which you can use as shaker bits. They're really cool. So I'm just going to use, let me have a look, I've got a little bone folder here that might help me just poke some of these off. So they've got very much stuck into my my plate here, but I don't want to waste them. So I've got a little dish here, and I think that this will make a really cute shaker card, so I'm going to keep all of these bits, and I might make a shaker card later, and maybe pop that on YouTube at a later date, because I think that'd be really, really cute. So let's pop them in there. You could also use them as sentiments, so you can add them as a little sentiment. Them coloured in, you know, reds and pinks. Oh, so cute. So just scrape all of those off. Sorry if the scraping noise is a bit annoying. Okay, so we've got a few of the little bits in there, and then, like I say, I'm just going to really carefully pop this back onto, see, there you go, you see it had moved ever so slightly there, so I'm going to use my washi tape here just to try and keep it all in place, and then I'm going to just move it to on a bit of an angle through my die cutting machine to try and help with the pressure. Okay, so let's have a look, see if we're second time lucky. Yeah, that's done it. See how it's come off so cleanly there, and then we can remove that, and look at all those little XOXOs. Right, so we are going to have to scrape some of these off, so I do apologise that that's going to, might be a bit, I'm going to use paper this time, which I think is probably a little bit, might be a little bit better. And they're going to flick everywhere, a bit like, oh, what was the, Tiddlywinks. When you were a kid, do you ever play Tiddlywinks? And they just flick everywhere. So I'm trying not to do that too much. Especially since I've just cleaned all of my craft area. I don't want to be messing it up already. Day one. Okay, so let's pop those back in there, and the few that have escaped, let's try and grab those as well. Come here. So I've got quite a nice little pot there going. Let's put these out of the way for a moment. And this is my scrap paper to one side because I probably will need that at some point. And then there's a couple more that have just stayed in the die, but not very many. So again, I'm just going to salvage those because we don't want them to clog up the die for future use. Which one was it? That one, wasn't it? So the other thing just to point out is that on the back of the die there are you'll see that there are lots of extra little dots, and they're there to help you poke out any that do get stuck. So it's a great little die, this one. So let's just pop this to one side. So we are going to use this with so I did think that I might use it with a coloured card base, but I don't think I've got one in the size that I need, in the colour I want. And I've got an A2 size card base here, but this is an A6 panel. So what I am inclined to do is to make myself a card base that's slightly larger than my panel. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to grab some pink cardstock that I've got in my stash here, and this will make a great card base for me, but because I need it to be slightly bigger than A6, so let me just get an A6 card base so that we can see the difference here. Because the other option would be to, yeah, you see it's slightly bigger than an A6 card base, which, in fact, that's an A2 card base again. I'll pick up the right size one in a moment. There we go. So yeah, so it's going to be the same size as this one, yeah. So there you go. So you're not going to see any of that pink on the outside, and I did quite want to see some pink on the outside, because the alternative would be to pop this up onto, just pop this onto my A6 card base, if you see what I mean. So I'm not sure whether that's what I want to do, because just to give you my thinking on my plan was to cut a little heart-shaped aperture out of the middle, or create, well, not cut a heart-shaped aperture, but add like a heart-shaped focal point in the middle there. So actually, though, that pink shining through does look quite sweet, so I'm going to go with that, I think, rather than mess about and try and make, I do just like that outline. Quite like the outline. Decisions, eh? I'm sure we'll do the right thing. I think the outline just frames it, which was the reason why I was thinking about possibly using my wide frames, but that will be too wide. Or we've got our nesting frame dies, which I have here. I don't know if I've got one large enough. Let's have a look. Got some that I've already cut out of some white cardstock, and that would fit. Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to do. There you go, decision made. That frames it beautifully. I love it, I love it. Right, so this, just to recap on what I'm doing as a crazy craft lady. These are the A6 nesting die set. So it is one die, cuts out all of these double stitched frames. So I've cut this once out of white cardstock, got all of my frames that I can then pick and choose from and use. So I think I've used a couple of the sizes already. but I now have this, the largest size is exactly the size of an A6 card base. So that's what I'm going to do. So, right, so we're cooking on gas now. I'm going to use this same piece of cardstock to cut out this heart. I think I'm pretty happy with that size of heart. Let me just have a look at the next size up. I think is going to be too large. Yeah, so the next size up would just fill that space a bit too much. So I think this one is going to be just perfect. So that's going to be my my heart base. So for my card base, then I've got my white card base here, but I'm now going to look at my A6 layering dies. So I've got my dies in front of me here. These are my A6 layering dies, and the largest one of these, as you would imagine, will cut an exact size of my A6 card base. So I'm going to use that to cut this bit of pink cardstock. But before I do, I'm going to be a little bit smart and look in my scraps and see if I have some card that is big enough. That might be big enough. So let me just... This is why it's so useful just to keep all of your scraps in little pockets, because I've actually got a full piece here that I've folded up for some reason. So, but the centre point there is the perfect size. So what I'm going to do, and take my paper scissors here, and I'm just going to trim this down because I don't need the rest of this, and this will help me just pop it into my die cutting machine, because the same situation is true that we had with the last die, is that depending on where I position it on my die cutting machine, the shape of my plates might affect how it cuts. So I'm just going to again pop that through the machine on a bit of an angle to help it go through. This is going to be the base or background for our card. So let's just remove that, take off there. And these bits, I'm not going to throw them away because they may only be small scraps, but if you're cutting out small sentiments or smaller little decorative dies, they're perfect for that. So for example, our recent Home for Christmas die set, lots of the pieces of that are quite small. I did have it to hand, but I can't find it now. But that would be perfect piece of scrap to use to cut out a couple of little houses. So let's just catch up with some comments. Cam says, I think my most favourite thing about Tiddlywinks was the name. Yeah, exactly, yeah. It was a great name. So that's my my die cut there. So I'm going to add this to my background straight away. That's going to be my first job. I'm just going to grab some of my Cosmic Shimmer Glue, and I'm just going to make sure that we've got this all over the background so it all sticks in place. There we go. And I'm going to pop that on the front there. Lovely. I like it. And then we can add our background. Now our background has got these little curved corners, so what you could do is you could round your corners on your card if you want, but I quite like it not you know, not done like that. I like to leave the bit of the curve just on my panel rather than on the card itself, but it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So I'm using again some liquid glue on this just to get into some of those little areas, and then we can pop that onto the background, and it just gives us that little bit of wiggle room. There we go. Cute. And then for the frame, my question mark in my head is, do I pop this up or not? You can see that it's got a little bit of washi tape still on it there, so I'm going to just try and poke that off because you could see it a little bit, or I could see it anyway. So let's just poke that free. There we go. So I think I might pop that up because I think that will look really cute. And my shaker tape is the right depth for me to be able to do that. So let me just find some. Here we go. So got a nice little bit of shaker tape here that I'm just going to line up in here. And do the same on this edge. So if you've been interested in our shaker tape and our foam tape, I am going to be putting in an order very, very soon for some more, and for the wider strips as well. I just haven't had a chance to because of Christmas and New Year and being so poorly. I just haven't had it in me to do it, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, we will be getting that in stock really soon. I'm excited to get that in stock because I do love this stuff, and I know you guys do too. So let's put that back out of my way in its new home. So I'm going to leave that for the minute. I'm not going to pop it in just yet, just in case I change my mind. Mickey says yes, she needs the wider tape in your life. I know you've been asking me, haven't you? Bless you. And yeah, it's just been I guess it's been less of a priority because of COVID and other things that have needed doing. I mean, for those of you that are self-employed or know someone who's self-employed, know that it is coming up to self-assessment deadline time. So again, that's something that's had to be done and organised. Hate doing that. Such an awful, boring job, but it has to be done. Okay, so I'm going to start with my little background now. And I'm going to use this scrap of cardstock here that was an offcut from our background here. Hello Debbie, how are you? Mickey says dimension is always a good idea, definitely. Lucy says, gosh, I've missed you. Oh, bless you, that's so cute. I've missed all of you. It's so lovely to have you on with me tonight. So let's do a little bit of ink blending. You know we love a bit of ink blending around here. I'm going to move my stamps to one side because we'll come to them after. So I'm going to do a bit of ink blending on this background, And I'm going to use some pinky colours because obviously why not. So that's not my Distress Oxide, that's my Distress Oxide. Distress Oxide in a bit of Tattered Rose, a bit of Worn Lipstick. It's always a good colour to use. And then I'm thinking maybe some Abandoned Coral would be very nice colours to mix and match. So, where's my pink? Pink. So using one of my pink brushes, and I'll probably use this for the whole thing. Now, I'm just going to do a background really of a mixture of the Tattered Rose, which is, you're not really going to see very much, I don't think, on screen because it is quite pale. And I'm going to use my heart here just so I can see kind of roughly where, you know, I'm going to need this colour. Use my cloth here just to clean this off a little, and then some Worn Lipstick just to brighten that background up a little bit. So concentrating the darker pink at the top and then the paler pink at the bottom. So a little bit more there, just to deepen that a little bit. And then go back over with some of this Tattered Rose, again just so that you can see that starting to come through. And then if I bring my heart back in, you can see now how that's, you know, that's filling that space really nicely. But I need a bit more pink, darker pink here, I think. I mean, I've almost ink blended a heart here anyway, just by where I've applied my ink already. But I do love the way that oxides you know, you can overlap them. That's really nice. I like that. Okay, so I'm going to just clean off that brush a little. I'm going to pop that one back, and I think I'm going to get here my my smaller brushes, my little stackable brushes here. So these are really cool. I think I might use that one for the Abandoned Coral. So I've got the little red one and I've got the little pink one here. And I'll just stack those back together so I don't pick one of them up by mistake, because I'm very much known for doing that. And then the next stage is to introduce my Scattered Hearts stencil, which is a real big favourite of mine. Perfect for obviously this time of year that's coming up. And I'm going to use the finger brush to just really intensify some of this darker pink colour where we put the Tattered Rose initially, and then I'm going to go in with the Abandoned Coral colour at the top where the Worn Lipstick is. And the beauty about using the stackable brushes is that they do add more of an intense colour and in a more directed and focused fashion than the regular size brushes would. So for this kind of technique they are perfect, because I can really get some focused colour in there. So let's just do a bit more of because I just need to make sure that I've covered enough space for when I die cut my heart. So yeah, I think that looks good. So let's do a reveal and see what we think. Yes, beautiful. And then when I pop my heart on there, you can see all those hearts flying around and floating around. Looks so pretty. Really, really pretty. Okay, excellent. And I feel like I might do a little bit of splattering, some splatterings on there. So let's just move things out of the way so that we don't splatter everything. Clean your stackable brushes in exactly the same way that you would your other brushes. So just rubbing them on a microfiber cloth will get the excess off there, and then you can just stack them back in together and pop those back with the rest of their friends, rainbow friends. Twist that around so that all the logos are the right way around. There we go. Excellent. And the cap can go back on. Lovely. So I think let's grab my wipes here and just clean up my stencil. This stencil I think would also look great with some texture pastes on it. You know, if you were to ink blend the background in those same pinks, but then put a white texture paste through it, I think that would look so cool. Okay, so I'm going to just use this little acrylic block I've got here, and I've got have I got some water here? Oh, I've got the tiniest bit of water left, so that should be enough, because we only need to do a little bit of splattering. And I'm going to use my fan brush for my splattering, because I think this gives me a better pattern of splatter. So I'm just using some water to, oh, some big dots there, like it. If you don't want your dots as big as that, which I hadn't really intended, but I do like it, then just hold your brush a little bit higher up than I did. But I like that. I'm into it. It's a good job, really, isn't it? So what did I do with that? Oh, there it is. So I've splattered everything in white. I might just do a little bit more with a slightly drier brush. Some smaller splatters, and you can also do a bit of a flick off the edge of your acrylic block as well. So that's giving me a little bit more of a splatter there. It's also splattered my my screen and pretty much everything else around me. So let's just move this out of the way, and I will do a little bit of a clean up. So I've now got white acrylic paint. Well, it was actually, I think it's gouache actually that I've just used. So I've got a bit of white paint splattered everywhere, but I knew it wasn't going to stay clean for very long. Okay. But I don't want to get, obviously I don't want to get white paint on my project where I didn't intend it to be. So always good to give it a bit of a clean up, just in case. Okay, so I don't think I'm going to need this again, so we'll just pop that away. Hello Alison. Hi Claudia and Christine. So Claire, are you and Jess both crafting today? And are you crafting together, or are you separately? You know, not together at the moment. So this is going to need a little bit of time to dry. So what I'm going to suggest is rather than use my heat tool on it, I think I'm going to just let it dry naturally, and we'll stamp up some of our little skunks while we let that dry. So we shall pop that up there, pop that to one side, and then let's get my little skunks on the go. So I do have a separate little scrap pocket here that has stamping card in it, for if I, you know, just so that I can differentiate between the different types of card that I have, because in all of these scraps, sometimes it's hard to know which is stamping card and which isn't. This, for example, feels super smooth, but doesn't feel as bright white as our Time for Tea stamping card is, so I don't always trust it. You know, if I've not labelled it correctly. So because I'm not certain as to all of this white scrap which is stamping card and which isn't, I'm going to pop that back. I'm going to grab some of my pre-cut card, which I know is my proper stamping card, and then I'm going to get my Stamp Perfect tool, and let's stamp up some little cute skunks. So let's have a look. Alison says, hello from COVID Central. Oh no, bless you. I hope you're feeling okay. I hope you're not feeling as terrible as I did, and I hope it's over soon for you. Alison says, Oscar's just getting over it, and then you've just got it in bed already. Oh, I feel your pain. I still don't feel, like I say, I feel like I'm still pretty tired. I get tired quite quickly now, and I seem to have constantly got a little bit of a headache. Like I've still got a cold. You know, if you've got a cold and you get a little bit of that head, bit of a funny head with it. that's kind of what I feel at the moment. So I think I'm going to use these two little cuties facing each other, because I think that would be quite sweet. This is my heart, so I'm imagining, oh, it's attached to my metal. Look at that, to my magnet. So if I imagine that they're going to be sat in this heart, you see, I've got one there, and then one at the other side of him there, look, which is very cute. And then I could have a few things kind of in their paws that they're giving to each other as gifts. So we've got a couple of little flowery type images, and we've got a little carrot, and I think that the little carrot would be kind of cute. Or actually, one of the things that we could do, which would be very cute, is in the bearing gift set, I think it will be. I'm just double checking. Yeah, let's have a look if I can find it. Bear with me, everyone. Or in the Smitten Kittens set, actually. The Smitten Kittens set is absolutely ideal for this time of year. Obviously, given, you know, the title says it all, really, doesn't it? Where is it? Can never find the one that I want. Let's have a look. I really want to find those Smitten Kittens. Okay, it's not that one. I have found the bearing gifts though, so you can have a look at the cute little bears. I just have a little flick through. Ah, there they are, Smitten Kittens. So what we've got in these is I think these are going to be perfect because they're the perfect size actually. So this is the Smitten Kittens, and the Smitten Kittens come with little boxes, 2 different boxes of chocolates, and then these heart-shaped balloons, which would be really kind of cool. I think if one of them is holding the heart-shaped balloons, I think that would be really sweet. So I might go with the heart-shaped balloons because they go with our heart theme, don't they? And offer a little bit of a different height element to it, which it's good to mix up the height, so we might go with those. And then in the bearing gifts, we have all of these cute little bears, and they've got all of these little things that they're bringing as gifts to their other little bear pal. Now this again would be a really great one to use for Valentine's Day, because you've got the speech bubble with the heart, and then you've got really cute sentiments like sending you bear hugs, and life would be unbearable without you, or coffee or chocolate or cake or all of the above. So again, that would be really, really cute to say, you know, life would be unbearable without you, and what a sweet sentiment. So I think that possibly these flowers would be quite a nice thing to be giving to your other half, and then some heart-shaped balloons. Shall we go with that? I think that would be kind of cute. So we've got our 2 little skunks. That needs to stop attaching itself. Cute little skunks. We've got our Smitten Kittens balloons there. And then we've got some flowers. Yay! Oh, here we go. Alison says, know exactly what you mean. Mine's got a big bass drum thumping around in it. Oh no, that's horrendous. I know when I first got the got COVID, or I mean, I didn't know that I'd officially got COVID at the time, but when I first started having symptoms, it was the headache and the temperature that were the things that I was having to manage and deal with, and they were that was by far the worst day of it. My face was on fire, I was so hot, and my head was pounding out of its skull. Oh, it's horrendous. Lucianne saying, you still swapping, as in sending happy thoughts made? I'm not sure. I don't think I understand. Are you asking me that question, Lucianne, or you're asking someone else? And I'm not really sure what you're asking me. I'm not sure. I honestly think that I have got COVID brain. I don't know if COVID brain is a thing, but I feel like things that made sense before probably don't make as much sense now in my COVID brain. It's killed off a couple of brain cells, and I didn't have that many to be wasting. Right, so that's that stamped, which is cool. I think this is going to be such a cute little card. I love it. Right, so let's pop these little fellas back where they live. So, and we're going to need this again because I'm going to use the sentiment. I think the sentiment I'm going to go with is, I love you so stinking much. But I might do the so stinking much on the inside and do the I love you on the outside. So we'll see. Again, this is all to be decided. So pop these back. Obviously you could use some of the sentiments from these because the Smitten Kittens obviously says Happy Valentine's Day, so you can make it an actual Valentine's Day sentiment if you wanted to. So that's really cool. So here we go. So I might try and zoom in a little bit so that you can see me colouring. So bear with. Let's see if it'll let me do that. That's quite good, isn't it? Card swap for everyone. Oh, a card swap. So, yeah, I think Julie organised the card swaps previously, didn't she? So I don't know if she's still doing one. I don't know if anybody else has organised one. It wasn't something that I got involved in. Really, so it was done via the Friends page, and I know there was a few of you that were involved in that, which is really, really cool. Alison says, feet are freezing, head is on fire. Happy crafting, catch you next week. Take care, honey. I know it's, yeah, you can't concentrate anything at the moment when you're like that, so yeah, that's exactly how I felt. So I really, really hope that it gets better soon for you. Right, so my skunks, let's give them, let's colour these guys in. I'm going to use the N greys, so the neutral greys. I think these are quite a good set to use. So they'll give us a good dark colouring, because our skunks are almost black. Now I'm going to show you one that is coloured up previously. This is our little hopping or jumping skunk. I'll make sure that that's on the screen so you can see that. And he's super cute. So I'm going to kind of follow what I did here for the rest of my little skunks. So I'm going to start with, I think, the N3. And I'm going to colour all of this little guy's face in the main colour here. And his body too. I'm going to leave his tummy white. I don't know if skunks have white bellies, but these ones do. I'm using artistic license, so I'm going to colour, leave him a white stripe down his tail, and then the same there, and then I'm going to do this guy, give him a coat of my lightest shade first as well, and just do around those ears. I mean, they are so adorable. I really, you know, I think the thing that I've been so disappointed about, apart from the fact that we slept through all of Christmas and New Year pretty much, was that I just didn't get to do any Christmas crafting at all. And I love Christmas crafting. It's some of the best. So let's do my shading from the side here, because I want to leave most of his nose area lighter, because I don't want to cover up any of those cute features by making him too dark. So this is why I'm going to go with, let's go darker around this side and up from the bottom there, and keep the rest of his face. Oh, I forgot his ear. And then for the tail, I'm going to use the darker colour at the base and at the tip, and then I'm going to leave the centre lighter, and then let's blend that out before it fully dries. So there we go. So going over that, the edges there, to blend those out. And same there. And then we'll just go back in with this. Oh, that's an even darker one. Just to smooth out these edges a little. Because my cardstock has dried a little bit, some of those edges I felt weren't quite as smooth, so that's why I've gone back in with that lighter grey again. And we'll do the same for this guy. So I'm going to go from the bottom of his feet and then this edge here under his paw and this paw too, and then under his neck there's going to be a little bit of shading, and then I'm going to come in from the outside of his face and in again with the purpose of not wanting to show that the centre of his face is in light, as well as not wanting to cover it up too much with too dark a colour. So that's cool. Could have covered up my other little cutie, and then we'll blend those edges out. With the lighter shade. So cute. So now we're going to go in with that really dark grey, and this is going to make him look almost black, like he's got a shiny, very shiny coat, which is what we want. So we're just going to add a little bit of extra depth in some of these areas. I'm just using the very tip of my marker so that you know, you can really direct it to where you want it, and that's why I like the brush nibs of the Copic markers. So you can see now that that is really starting to give them a bit more of that darker skunk coat. Just going over those edges there, and the same on his tail. Yes, and then finally I'm going back in with our lightest shade. And that's why having the right kind of card is really important, because you're adding lots of layers of colour to your character, and if you've not got the right cardstock or paper, you are going to end up oversaturating your paper. You will probably make your stamped image bleed, which is a definite issue, and you'll also potentially you know, bleed out of those lines. as well. So, and it becomes a bit harder to manage. It doesn't give you enough time really to be able to control your colouring the way that the right cardstock does. And I think like with anything you discover with crafting, like you do with a lot of things, is that if you have the right tools, it can make such a huge difference to the overall finished effect. So I haven't taken this darkest colour right into the centre of his face because I don't want to lose his features. So he will have a slightly lighter colouring as a result. So again, I'm just going over these edges. I'm using a bit of a circular motion to really get those edges to blur for me, because they have been allowed to dry a little bit. And just finish those ears off a little bit as well. And then the final thing is to go back in with the lighter shade, and again that will just bring the whole thing together. So he's got a little bit of depth, a bit of character, and while it's, you know, it seems a lot to do for a small image, I think the result is so worth it. So that's pretty much their bodies done, but I'm going to add a little bit of E41 to the white areas, just to give them a little bit of depth, because otherwise they'll just look flat against the rest of the image, because we've given the rest of him some actual you know, some depth, and then for those bits to just lay flat would look wrong, would just look odd. So adding a little bit of the E40 and E41 just makes it look a little bit more natural than it being just full-on stark flat white. And I can use my colourless blender to blend all of that out. Yes, cute. Okay, so let me just catch up on any comments. When I'm excuse me, I'm just having to blow my nose as well. When I'm colouring, I kind of forget what I'm doing, you know, and forget to talk, which is not good, is it? So we've got our cute little characters here. I do need to give them a little bit of pink in their ears. So let's just add a little bit of pink into their ears. Tiny little dots of pink there. So we now need to colour this portion in, and I'm going to bring my background that we stenciled earlier, just as a little bit of a reminder of the colours that I'm going to be using. I'm going to start with the pinks. So the R20 is a really great colour. Lindsay, hello there. Lindsay says, love these little cuties, colouring looks fab. Oh, thank you. So I think I'm going to go with the R20 in the background here for one of my one of my balloons. And let me I've got an R22, R25, R27, R21, R00. Oh, R01, that's a good one. Let me just test that. Yeah, that's a good one. So, sorry, I keep forgetting to show you my... So the R01, the pinkish vanilla, is very tattered rose in my mind. And then I'm going to go with the R21 with this guy here. And I'm just going to do some really basic colouring. Actually, I want that to be my lightest colour, not my darkest. So I'll do that right to the edge. And then the R22 is a bit more towards the abandoned coral end of the colour scheme that we're using here. So I'll just use that R21 again just to blend that out. And then for the one in the centre, I'm going to use the R22 as kind of my lightest colour. So I'm going to have that around the top of the balloon. And the R24 is a really nice red. It's actually called prawn. So these are kind of salmony reds. Really nice warm reds. And they blend really, really well together. So they're kind of a favourite of mine. Favourite red combination. There we go. So that's looking quite cute. And I'm going to use this same red, I think, for the little bow here. So for the deeper colour, the R24, and the lighter shade is the R22. So just keeping it to 2 colours really. And then for the flowers, again, I'm going to use exactly the same sort of combinations. So we'll do one in this lighter shade of pink, which is I've used the R01 and then the R20. And then the R21 for this one here, I think. And the R22 is the kind of accent, or not accent colour, but like the deeper shade. And then for this one in the background, we will go for red. Oh, I've coloured this one at the front a little bit wrong. Bear with. This at the front here is a tulip. So my tulip I'm going to do in red as well, so that it pops out. And there is also another tulip at the back, which I'm going to do in the lighter colour. So let's just add a bit of... If you're finding that you're not getting the distinction in your shading because they're quite close together, some of these colours, then let it dry back a little bit first, your paper, and then go back in with that secondary colour, and you will find that you get a better contrast. So yeah, that's another thing to do. The leaves I'm going to do in a really nice kind of soft green. This is a nice green. Let's try this. Yeah, that's a nice green. So I'll just add a few few bits of green to that, and then we need a yellow for the centre, so I'm going to use this warm Y21 for the centre of those. And then for the flower, the bunch of flowers for the base, my thoughts are to, because I want to keep this quite almost a monochromatic, but it's obviously it's not, but I'm going to keep this as fairly pale. Well, yeah, so I'm going to use my cool greys just to add a little bit of shading here, and my thoughts are that I kind of leave it almost white. So that was the cool grey 0 and the cool grey 1. Where's my blend? That's my colourless blender to blend that out. And we'll go in with a bit of cool grey 3 just to deepen some of the shadow there. Yeah, and I think we'll leave it like that so that it's keeping that, you know, like I say, that colour scheme is staying fairly you know, it's keeping it cohesive. I'm struggling with words today. Words are proving quite difficult. Okay, so these are looking awesome. I'm going to add a little bit of white jelly roll once we're done, but I'm going to die cut these first with the coordinating dies. So I've run out of magnetic sheets, and they are on there again. It's something else that I'm going to order. So normally I would have all of my dies here on magnetic sheets. Hello to Lygia. Is that how you pronounce it? Or Lygia? Lovely to have you. And again, I'm sorry if I don't pronounce this right. Alidalis. I'm sorry if I've not pronounced your name right. You've asked the question that are there any US stores carrying our images? There are. I'm really delighted to say that Simon Says Stamp are carrying our images. So they've got a good range of our images in their store, and they have just placed a reorder for some items as well. So, and they will be carrying the new release when it comes, when it's available. So, so yeah, so they're a great place for you to go in the US, I think, for you to get your time for tea stuff. In terms of other individual, did I pronounce it correctly? Yay! I bet I can't do it again, so I'm not going to push my luck. But yeah, they're a great place for you to go. I think there are some other independents that might be stocking us as well, but they don't purchase from me direct. They get from other distributors. So I couldn't tell you for definite who they are. So that's why I would say that Simon Says Stamp are probably your best bet to go to, as they purchase from us regularly. So pop that onto there. But please feel free to contact your local craft store and let them know about us, and to you know, to contact us, because we are happy to ship to other craft stores around the world, should they want some of our little cute images. So let's get these dies on here, and then we can cut these out. And and I am going to put them through the big machine, so be aware of noise. I do apologise. So here we go. Oh, I could have put that through as well, couldn't I? What a silly sausage. I could have popped that through at the same time. So I'll do that now. He's popped out already. I could have lined him up a little bit better than I did, but I'm sure you will forgive me. And I'm going to just figure out where I want this to go. I think that's a good spot that we've got there. So I'm going to add some more of this washi. And I will zoom back out once I've done all my die cutting so that you can see me do the construction. Go at zooming. In fact, I will unveil my little die cuts first, so you can see them nice up and close and see how they've die cut. See, I lined him up much better. He's cute, isn't he? So we've got these two guys. They're going to be looking at each other. I'm not, you know, it's not perfect, but I think we can get away with it. And then we've got a bunch of flowers. Oh my god, that's too cute. That's real cute. So you see here how I've got these. Is that on? No, that's the wrong one. But you see I've got these on there on a magnetic sheet here. That's ideally how I would have them all. So let's just grab the little balloons. Oh my goodness, how adorable. And the great thing about the balloons, just to let you know, is that it even cuts out the little tiny space in between those balloons, which I think is incredible detail. All about the detail. It does just make such a big difference, I think, you know, little things like that you can see that have just been made so well. Safely away so that I don't mix up all my dies. And then final thing is to just remove this. Now I'm going to be really careful removing this washi tape, because when it's fresh it is quite sticky and I don't want to remove any of that background. So curling it as you pull it away helps protect your background and your paper from being torn. So that's my heart, that's my stamps, and I think I do have some sentiments already die cut, so we might be able to get away with using those. We shall see. So let's start putting this together. I'm going to zoom out if I can. Oh no, that's zooming in. That's zoomed out, isn't it? That's better. Let me have a look at the comments. Betsy Terry says, any chance scrapbook.com will carry you? Well, I really would hope so. They don't as yet, but that's one of our ambitions for this year. So obviously if customers want our products there, then that will encourage them to get in touch with us, as well as, you know, hopefully help me along with any inquiries. So yeah, that would be great. Cam says, aren't you the distributor? How does that work? So we supply to a company in the Netherlands who are a distributor. So they buy from us, but then they sell to other craft companies. So they're kind of our European distributor, which helps us because it saves costs in shipping, etc., because they're already based in Europe. So it's easier for them to ship to the rest of the world from where they're based than it perhaps is for me to do from here. So it saves in kind of duty costs and that kind of thing. Mickey says, I love that. Nowadays, I only buy coordinating dies that cut out the sentiments and all those little details, but they're hard to find and you're spoiling us. Oh, that's so cute. And I really feel like I'm going to say this wrong again. Alidalis. Alidalis? Is that right? Oh, I'm so sorry if I'm doing this wrong. But thank you. She says they're so cute. Cam says, okay, thanks. Yes, I hope that explained it. It's, you know, it's a confusing world out there for us trying to do business as best we can. So we've now got this as a little bit of a kind of a construction, and I like that. I like the heart, and I'm going to pop. I'm thinking, do I pop the heart up? Do I just pop up my characters? Again, we love a bit of dimension, don't we? So my little characters are going to sit on the heart. They've got their little gifts that they're sending to each other, which is adorable. I love this. And then the sentiments. So the sentiments, I've already got some that I've stamped and cut out previously. So we've got the I love you, which could be nice if it was done maybe black with white heat embossing. So I'm inclined to maybe do that. So I've got no stinking way. I love you, no stinking way. That wouldn't be a very nice message, would it? I love you so much, but I want so stinking much. So I'm going to have to stamp that out again anyway. So what do we think? Do we think that maybe a bit of black with white heat embossing might look quite cool? It might pop out a little bit more, mightn't it? So that's going to be my plan. And like I said, the coordinating dies cut out all of the words. So all of the words. So I like that. So let's pop that to one side, and I need some more of my scrap card. So guys, are you still enjoying the lives as much as you always have? I know we've got some real, you know, keen followers who love the weekly lives. Is there anything that you would like to see me do on the lives that, you know, that I haven't been doing? I guess I kind of just craft what I feel I'm into at that particular time. You know, I am going to potentially, she says, start maybe planning ahead a little bit more for the lives. But what did I do with that now? But yeah, so that's why I'm asking, is there anything that you would like to see me do that I haven't already done? Lauren says, need some heat embossing. I used to do heat embossing pretty much every live, didn't I? I haven't done it, don't feel like I've done it for ages. So let's do some. Let's do it. So I'm going to do the I love you. So we've got I love you. So stinking much. Stinking much. And because these all cut out separately, I don't have to stamp them in the correct order. So let's just pop that one there. I love you so stinking much. Okay, pick that up, and then I'm going to use some of my anti-static powder here. If I can get the lid off. It didn't want to come off, did it? And let's get that. Get lots of powder on there, because I don't want any white getting anywhere that it shouldn't. You do you, it's art, you need to be inspired. Oh, Cam, I love that. Thank you. That's really lovely of you to say. That's really nice. I do tend to just go with what's, you know, I'm inspired by at the time, or what. And I do have some favourite techniques, which you guys will have seen me do lots of if you've watched before. So, like I say, I love a bit of heat embossing. I love to do my ink blending because I love my Time for Tea blending brushes. And I love to do my colouring in. So, you know, I don't want to bore you guys with the same stuff week in, week out, but these are kind of the things that I love to do, and hopefully you love to watch. So, but if there's anything, you know, that in particular that you would like me to do, then I'm very much open to requests. So I've got some of my fine white heat embossing powder, which I'm just going to chuck over there, and hope that our anti-static did its thing. So I'm just giving it a light tap to get most of that off. Now there is still some powder here, which we kind of do expect to happen. So I do have a tiny brush that I can just brush off this excess. As best I can. And some of these dots that I'm seeing, I think, are just the anti-static powder itself, so I'm not going to worry about them too much, because we'll buff up the cardstock once the heat embossing has dried. So that's my little bit of scratch paper that I keep to one side for when I'm doing heat embossing, because you don't want your embossing powder to get everywhere, and obviously you can use the bits that you haven't you know, that haven't stuck to your cardstock. You can reuse and clean up these stamps from that sticky ink. Sorry about the squeaking, very squeaky. So the cloth that I'm using to clean is actually it's called an absorber cloth, and it's like a chamois. It's actually for cleaning your car, and I saw Laura Basson talk about it in one of her I think it was like a craft room tour that she did, and she showed them, and basically they're so cool to use. You just they're moist anyway, they're damp anyway, but you can wash them and you know, keep them moist. Put them in an airtight container and they stay moist, but they don't get mildew, they don't smell, they don't, you know, they don't go off while they're in storage. But then they're always ready to use when you need to wipe your stamps clean. So they're perfect for that. So yeah, so that was a top tip that I got there, and I love it, and I can use it with my stamp cleaners and everything. Oh, I've got myself in a bit of a tangle here. Got my wires a bit caught up in my heat tool. So sorry for the noise again. I'm just going to heat this up a little bit first, and then we shall see if you guys can see that all right. Excellent. So my anti-static tool didn't do the best job possible on the word stinking there, but that's okay because I have a solution. One of the things that have been somebody mentioned was to use your craft pick to scratch them off, but I find that scratches your paper. So the other option is to use your Copic multiliner and just colour those areas back in black, and that does work quite well, but I'm also not too precious about it. We're going to cut around these images anyway, and I don't think it's going to detract too much from our sentiment. So, but I'm just going to colour some of those bits in, colour over some of those bits, to cover the you know, the worst bits over. Cool. And when it's fully dried back, the other thing to do is to use your microfiber cloth. So make sure it has dried, but then use your microfiber cloth just to buff the cardstock. Just make sure that my colouring has also dried, and that also will brighten up the background and will remove any of that anti-static powder that was left. So let's go back to our dies now. I'm going to have to tip all of these out because I'm not sure which one goes with which now. So what have we got in here? So we've got lots of words, and I now need to match up my correct word. That looks like I love you. Yep. And then I need stinking. That looks like stinking. And then I need much, which that is that one. And then I've also got so, which looks like this one. There you go, that was quite easy to do. You can pretty much recognise the shape quite easily with these. So pop all of these guys back. You've even got the dies to cut out all the little heart stamps, which I don't imagine that you will do, but sometimes it's just a case of, well, you know, we'll put them in because if anybody does want them, they're there then. I think sometimes it's better to add them in and not need them, and then not add them in and wish that we'd done it. Because once it's done, it's done. You can't, you know, go back and change it. Not easily or cheaply. So let's just make sure that that's lined up as best we can. Now this will fit through my little mini die cutting machine, which is really cute. So I'm going to add this onto here. And let's see what these look like once they're cut out, because like I say, I'm a bit disappointed that my anti-static powder tool didn't work so well. I knew I should have used my my powder bag, which is a little bit more effective, I think, but I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah, see, that looks great. It still looks great. So we've got I love you, stinking, much, and then the final one, little so. is it? There we go. Might be a bit tough for you to see on my black craft mats, but it'll all become clear soon enough. Right, let me grab some of my foam pads here. So we're going to need some dimension on the background. Yes, love this. So I love you so stinking much. Let me just catch up on some comments. That's brilliant about the multi-liner. Yeah, it's a little tip if you do have a little bit. Or you could also use your Copic, your black Copic marker would work because they're permanent, so they work really well. So let me think. Do I want some dimension on this heart as well? I'm really tempted to, you know, really tempted to pop that up as well. Because we've got a nice bit of dimension here. No, I'm going to leave it flat. I am going to leave it flat. So let's add some glue on the back of here because we're going to add dimension to our little skunk. So that's where the dimension needs to be, I think. So let's have a look. I'm going to do it just slightly above centre because I think that's going to look better. And then I'm going to just do a little bit of adding some glue to my little skunk's paw so that he can hold on to his balloons there. And then the same for this guy. Cam says this card is adorable. Thank you. I'm really loving how it's turning out. It's I always start on this like journey of who knows what's going to happen with like a kind of an idea in my head, but don't quite know how it's going to turn out until we finished it. So I think now's the time to put my my frame on. So I'm going to do a little bit of remove a little bit of the background tape at a time. Excuse if you can see my head. So what this is going to do, adding this frame, covers up those rounded corners. So it means then that it's all going to match up really well. So now I know that I'm happy with where that's lined up, I can remove the rest of the tape and that will all be perfectly lined up. Yeah. Oh yeah, that looks so good. Fabulous. So, and then we've got this little guy sitting here, this little guy here. His tail's just about going to fit on, but if I put enough dimension on, then his tail will stick over the end. So, in order to do that, I want some tape that's got a good amount of dimension to it. This is quite deep, but it's round. I don't want it to be round. What we got here? Are these all round? They're teeny tiny squares from Create and Craft. I don't think I need teeny tiny squares, although small squares might work for some parts of it. But I'm going to revert back to my shaker tape because it's the same depth as this, and I can cut it up into small pieces, which is really handy for the back of these little critters. So it means then that I can, you know, get a good amount of foam tape on here, covering all of those little areas that we need to. So just snip a few bits off. That one's a little bit too big, so I'll just snip that bit off. Oh, that's gone flying across my desk. Where's that going to go then? Who knows whether we'll find that again. So Ali Dallas says, I missed the XOXO background. Is that a cutting background plate? It is, let me show you. It is this cutting plate here. So the size of it is a UK sized or a European sized A6 card base, but you, of course, you can cut it down to whatever size you want. So yeah, so that goes there. Yes, I feel like every time I'm saying your name I'm saying it worse than I did the first time. Oh dear, I'm terrible, aren't I? In my Yorkshire accent as well, it's probably totally ruining your beautiful name. Right, so that is looking good so far. So yeah, now we've got that bit of extra dimension, you see. Their little tails are going to hang over the edge, which I think is going to work for us. So let's get the backing off here and get these lined up where we like them. So let's pop him, because I don't want his balloons to land in the other little skunk's face. So I think him there and then him there. That works, doesn't it? Hello Liz, welcome to Time for Tea. I'm loving that we're getting some different names, some new names today. So I'm loving that you guys are joining us along with our regular friends. Yes, that works. Oh, I like it a lot. So we've now got our sentiment here, I love you. So I do think that the black with the white looks really cool, and then we can have a little sew. Oh, could the sew just go there, or does it not make sense there? Is it going to get lost? Stinking much. What do we think? I think maybe the sew needs to come underneath so that it goes like this. So let's look at that. What do we think? Or no, I preferred it there. I did prefer it there. I did prefer that. And then that goes there, and then it's not covering up the XOs too much. Yes, I quite like that. Lindsay says, I'm loving how this is coming together. Always love a white embossed sentiment. Don't know, there's just something about white embossed sentiments on black cardstock. They just look terrific, don't they? So, I feel like I need to do a little bit more cleaning up of my sentiments here, so just bear with. I'm going to do a little bit of testing of different pens here to see which one's going to go over it better. So I've got some smaller... Oh, Mickey, thank you. You're an absolute treasure for finding that. So yeah, just cleaning this up is going to make it pop a little bit more. So excuse me while I go super silent while I concentrate. There we go. And So this is a 0.1 multi-liner. So that means then that you can like really get into the little nooks and crannies a little bit easier. And you can then cover up the bits that have got right inside, or you know, inside your letters, because that's the bit that I find the most frustrating, is that, you know, it's really hard to get the extra powder from in between your letters where they're really small. Even with a really fine tipped brush, you're likely to brush off all of your embossing powder that you've just stamped and put down. So this is a good way of getting into those little areas. And this is just going to make it look so much better. So just a little bit of time, but you know, you've put a lot of time into your card already, so you don't want to, you know, it not to be perfect. There we go. That's already made a big difference to those words there. I mean, it might be you might not be able to see it as well on camera as I can see in real life, how you know, how much of the you know, the powder has transferred, but when I take the pictures, hopefully you'll be able to see that this is cleaned up really nicely. Sorry if this bit is a little bit dull, just watching me do this, but I'm sure you've all had this happen to you, where, you know, you've been left with little white spots on your black cardstock, and you know, it's frustrating, isn't it? So okay, so now I'm going to use the same shaker tape that we used. Uh-oh, the cat's back. No, don't jump up here. No, cat. Oh, here she comes. Hello there, Rosie. That was Rosie. She's also stinking cute. So she probably wants to go out to play now, which is just madness. Madness, I tell you, because it's late and it's cold. It says here that it is likely to snow, which I am not impressed by at all. I don't know about you guys, but snow is not for me. I would never go on a snowy holiday. I would always choose a sunshine holiday for definite. What about you guys? Would you do the same? So Emma says that she needs some more white embossing powder after doing so many Christmas sentiments. Excellent. Yeah, well, that shows you have done a lot if you need some more. Wow, that's amazing. Mickey says she'll be very patient while crafting this year, which is unusual for me. Let's see how long it lasts. Same here. One word from me and she ignored it. Yes, exactly. Mickey says she went for a walk before the live and it was freezing. Yes, I was out and about earlier on today, and yeah, it was so cold. And Lisa's just back from a frosty walk and says, this is beautiful. Thank you, honey. Yes, I imagine it is frosty where you are too. Probably much more frosty than it is here, but we're so rubbish with the cold we should be more used to it really, but Emma says, I would love it to snow, but all we get down here is the rain. And Claire says she loves proper snow. Well, so I will clarify. I like snow if I don't have to be out in it and if I haven't got anywhere to go. If I've got places to go, it upsets me. Watched one of your videos on Insta, look beautiful. That's for Annalisa? Oh, I need to see that. So let me just make sure that these are positioned right. Stinking much. I just think this is very cute. Yeah, Laura says she loves snow and there is nowhere to go. That's my thoughts. If you're sat inside and you're nice and snuggly warm, you've got plenty of food and warmth and drink, and you know you've got everything you need in life. You don't need to go anywhere. Then snow, looking out on this lovely snowy background is awesome. But other than, you know, if you've got to go to work in it and battle with the traffic and, oh no, and be cold, no. -12 where you are. Oh my heavens, I'm not putting anything other than my head out to scream at the pups to get inside, bless you. I would definitely not be going out in that. Wow, that is some cold weather. So I think that looks just too cute. I am, as always, I struggle with knowing when to stop. I'm a big believer in more is more, as you know. And one of the things that I'm just searching around for in my stash here is some of my lots of love hearts here. So these are some shaker bits that we have, and I know this is not a shaker, and you know, but I don't know, I'm just a little bit inclined to say, do we put a couple of little, particularly this red colour, ooh, a couple of these little red ones on here. I think this would be so cute. Oh, look at those three are all joined together. That's kind of cute. I like that. So we've got just a couple of these little red ones scattered about. I think that might be quite adorable. We only have to have the three. Totally forgotten, says Irina, your card looks amazing. Oh, bless you. You've almost missed it all. But don't worry, because it will be on Facebook. So I think these little three, just a little bit of red, I like it. So I'm going to go with, let me just make sure that this is going to come out. No, it's blacked. It's blacked. Let's give it a little poke. There we go. So this is a bit of glossy accents. It's got a little bit clogged up, so I'm just using a pin to unclog it. Give it a test. Oh, it doesn't want to come out. Come on now. Don't do this to us. Oh yeah, it does seem a little bit clogged in there. Oh heavens, it doesn't want to come out. That's quite annoying. Normally this is pretty good, this one, for not getting too clogged. But I've not used it for a while, so I think I'm going to have to do a little bit more work on this one. I'll not keep you waiting while you watch me. Oh, we're on it. We did it. Yay. So let's just add one there. And the reason that I'm using glossy accents is because it dries clear. and it's super sticky, so it's great for these clay embellishments. And I think just adding just that little pop of red is just you know, doing it for me. It is doing it for me. So hopefully you guys agree. So let's pop these back in this little bag here. I've got them in. And then the final thing that I said I was going to do was that I was going to use my white Jelly Roll pen here to add some highlights to my little characters. So I'm just going to really kind of gently add in a little bit of highlight just in random places, really. I mean, I don't even really know if these are the places where there should be highlights, but it's artistic license is what I would call it. But I love adding a little bit of white to my balloons. I just think that does really help bring them to life and give them a little bit of, you know, that dimension. And where else? On his bum there. But I think like I, you know, I say quite a lot, there are no colouring police or outlining police. So you do what you enjoy. You do what makes you happy. You know, because you're putting a lot of work and effort into your project, and it has to make you happy. And you know, there are people out there who will be looking at your work and thinking, how the devil have they done that? You know, so like I say, there are no colouring police. Don't feel like if you've not put your lines in the right place that somebody's going to come and you know, lock you up for it. Right, let's zoom in a little bit so that we can see that in a bit more detail. I love this. That came out so completely different to what I thought it was going to do, but so much better than I thought it was going to do, which I love it when that happens. So yeah, what do you guys think? The other thing that I could have done with my balloons is add a bit of either glossy accents, or I've got this Cosmic Shimmer like clear lacquer, which does a similar sort of thing to glossy accents. If I put that on now, those white highlights that I put on there will disappear because they are they're not permanent. Hello, cat. Rosie again. Hello there. I should just pop you down there, little one. Well, she's not that little anymore, actually. So yeah, so I don't think I'm going to do that just now, but yeah, there you go. Annalisa says the hearts are the perfect touch. Laura says great card, love every part of it. Mickey says super adorable. Jess says so beautiful, so cute, love it. And Lindsay says absolutely love it, totally inspired to colour those cuties up this weekend. I love these little skunks, they are so cute. They are one of my favourites actually, and I know I say that quite a lot. The next thing project that I really want to do with you guys though is this one with the kitchen add-on set and the Baked with More Love set. I haven't used this at all yet, and I love it. So I think that's probably going to be a next project, next live that we do. But yeah, I think that we shall call it a night then. Thank you so much for everyone for joining me. Again, Happy New Year to you all. I hope 2022 brings us all good health, happiness, and lots of time with loved ones. Claire says, lovely, is it for Aunt? Yeah, I think you know, I think he would like this. I think he would appreciate this, wouldn't he? So yeah, definitely. I shall, he's out at the moment actually, Aunt, so he doesn't know that this is what's being made, so this will be a nice little surprise for him. The thing is, you know, I do love Valentine's Day, but you only give your Valentine's card to one person, but I want to make lots of Valentine's cards. So he's going to get lots and lots of love, isn't he? Jess says, thanks, Joe. Great live as always. Glad to have you back. And it is absolutely fabulous to be back. And I've really enjoyed making this card. I will be up to my eyes in making samples for the new release. New release will go live on the 21st of January. So put that date in your diaries. 21st of January, the new release will be available, and we will have various sneak peeks and reveals on the days leading up to that, so keep an eye out for those. In the meantime, keep an eye on Facebook and YouTube for when we're next live, and I shall see you for another crafting session really soon. Thank you guys. See you soon. Have a great evening. Bye. Bye. Yay.